Hi, good morning, everybody. You're welcome to ZK Tech Solution Thursday. And today we are going to be doing a lot. We are going to be breaking down the new BioTime NG. And because I'm sure a lot of us we're familiar with the old one, but uh, some of us are quite struggling with the new one. In fact, a lot of people are even thinking this is entirely different from the old BioTime.ng. So we'll wait 5 minutes to allow some people to join. So after 5 minutes, we start just to give a grace to uh, the new people that are going to be joining us in this meeting. Okay, so I think we've given enough grace and we are going to be starting. Uh, Kindly confirm if you can see my screen. If you can see my screen, drop it in the chat. And Okay, so if you can see my screen, kindly drop it in the chat. So today we'll be talking about the new BioTime Cloud 2.0. This is our cloud-based attendance system. Uh, it's a new BioTime software that is designed to actually make employee scheduling and employee management much more effective. So you get a lot of perks, you get a lot of new attributes that is associated with this new um, cloud platform. For those of us that are getting to know this for the first time, the BioTime Cloud, like we all know it, BioTime Africa is a cloud attendance platform. So as an organization, using BioTime Cloud gives you a much more less operational overhead, which means you are not managing any server infrastructure, you are not installing any software. Basically, what you are doing to get onboarded is to go to biotime.ng and sign up, right? So you sign up. I'm going to log out. Yeah, so you can see. Okay, so this is the interface. It's biotime.ng. So just for clarity, uh, so we don't get mistaken. So there are two BioTime cloud servers. There is the .ng server, which is meant to be for the Nigerian branch, and there's BioTime.mx server. So sometimes a lot of customers make mistakes by going to BioTime.mx. So BioTime.mx is meant for organizations that are in Mexico, but here in Nigeria and across Africa, we are using the BioTime.ng. And the reason why this is compulsory for you to use is to actually get the required support that is needed from us at ZK Techo. So if you have this, if you uh, log in, if you sign up using the BioTime.ng, you get the needed support from us at ZK Techo West Africa. So, like I said, for those of us that are familiar with the whole BioTime Cloud, we could see that there's a whole lot of changes in the interface. And this is because this is the newly launched BioTime. So signing up is easy. Basically, the sign-up process is straightforward. You are inputting your email, your phone number. So when you input your mail and phone number and you click sign up, a link is sent to you from Minerva IoT. So you get the link from your email, and the link redirects you to a page where you input your preferred company name. So what the system actually does from the background is to actually create your own separate server, right? So you have your own separate server that is created for you on the cloud, which is AWS. That server is created for you, and you can now manage your login application just as you want it. So it's as simple as creating a Facebook page, or you create a Twitter page, right? So for a lot of our installers, you don't actually need to go through the stress of having to install a software on the customer's server, and the customer doesn't need any server. So yeah, I'm going to log in. I'm going to log in with the credentials. And you can see my company name is tsupport.biotime. So what this is going to do is the domain name here is going to resolve it to have tsupport. So I'll be having tsupport.biotime.ng. So it's going to serve as a subdomain to this actual biotime.ng domain. So I'm going to verify. So as soon as I do that, it will ask me to input my password, which is already there. I click on remember password, then I sign in. So you can see that my domain name has been resolved to tsupport.biotime.ng. So which means that I'm now which means I can now have my own dashboard and my own application without interfering with other parties' application. So it's as simple as that. It's something that will take you not less than 10 minutes as an HR to actually come up with. So if I were you as an HR, the first thing I'll do is to go to the guide. So when you click on the guide, it gives you a step-by-step details on what you can do, on how you can actually set up your application, right? Which we don't really have uh, uh, elaborated on the whole BioTime .ng. But on the new BioTime.ng, you get a step-by-step process of the things that are actually required. So in the guide, the first step is to create your company settings. So if I click on my company settings, you'll see that it takes me to the company settings. So the company settings is where you actually input the information of the companies, all the address, the phone number, the country, the time zone, where your company is situated, and you can also append your logo so that when you are generating a report, the report can be generated with your logo attached, right? So that's one. So when you're done with this, we go back to the guide. So the second step is now to create area. So if I click on area, it takes me to where area is. So basically, what area does is actually an implementation that shows you what the software, how the software would identify a particular device. So let's say you are installing 4 devices at 4 locations, 4 different locations for employee attendance so that employee can come in and check in their designated locations. So how do you ensure that the software have a separated mapping of each of all these devices? How does the software know that, okay, this particular device is from this particular location, this particular device is from this particular location? So that is separated through the use of what we call the area. So the area is now where you create the different areas where your devices are situated. So if it is in the same company, you can have it that, okay, let's say you are installing one attendance device in the logistic office, you are installing another one in the HR's office, you can add and give the area code. You can give it any code and you give it a name. So here you have parents. So if the area is, let's say you have a multi-area. So let's say you have a multi-area, you have VI and let's say Lekki, and you have 2 separate companies. But in these companies, you have 2 devices in VI. So you can create an area named VI and make VI the parent to the other areas that are present in that particular area. So for instance, if I'm installing 2 devices in Lekki, Lekki is the area, and where am I installing these 2 devices in Lekki? I'm installing one in the HR's office and I'm installing the other in the technical support office. So what I can do is that I can create a parent area, which is Lekki. Then I can now attach these other 2 devices to that parent area. So, but this is specifically useful and should be used if you are doing a logical grouping of your employees. So logical grouping by the in the sense that if you have like one employee, if you have a particular set of employee that have to clock on a particular device. So if you have like 10 employees in HR department that has to only clock in the HR department, and you have 10 employees in the technical department that have to only clock in the technical on the devices in the technical department. So this is where the logical grouping is useful. So basically saying area is just an identifier for the software to recognize what devices are added to it. So you can also see different details. You can see device count. You can see employee count. So device count represents the number of devices that are actually added to the area, while the employee count are the total number of employees that are actually present on this device. And the resign count are the total number of employees that have actually resigned. And the fingerprint count, FP is fingerprint, face, and visible light face count. So these are for product that uses the new the ZK Teco visible light technology. So also we have this little icon here. You can also import areas, right? Let's say you are doing, you have about 500 locations. How do you want to start creating 500 locations by adding? It's becomes stressful for the HR. The easy way to do that is to import the areas. So when you import the areas, you download the templates that are actually needed. So when you download the templates, so downloading the templates will give you the required fields and how each of your data will be imputed in each rows and each columns, right? If those data are not structured properly, you might get an error, and that error will be returned to you. That's okay. You have row 4, row 2, row 3, they are not properly imported. Kindly check if you have a name mismatch. So you have that. And after you've downloaded and you're done, you can now import that template using the import field here by choosing your file and importing what you've actually downloaded here. So one other thing is you can also do what we call area transfer. So if I click on here, so I can transfer certain employees from the software. I can transfer them to the device. So this function is specifically useful when, let's say, for example, there's a delay in getting some certain products for the HR to actually use. So every employee needs to be registered on the software. So for all the employees that are registered on the software, they can actually be transferred to a particular area. So when they are transferred to that particular area, so when the device gets when the device has been gotten, this device can now be added to the area, and the employees that have been added to the software can now be synced to that device. So it makes it very efficient, and it makes workflow very faster. So you don't have to register employees on the device. So you need to just register them on the software. Then when the device gets here, you can now enroll their biometrics when after you've gotten the device, so it doesn't delay your implementation process. So this makes it very useful and very effective. So that's on the area aspect. So I'll go back to the guide, because the guide is very important to give you like a structured orientation of how to approach the BioTime NG, as be it an installer, or be it an HR of a company, be it a technical support of a company. You know that once you follow these steps, you get proper implementation. You get proper implementation of the product. So the third thing is now to create departments. So for every organizations, there are different hierarchies, right? We have different hierarchies to departments. So this is where you create your different departments, because every employee needs to be attached to a particular department. So the next step is to create the departments in that organization. So we can have the HR department, we can have the technical department, we can have the accounts department. So this is just where you do perform all those functions. So you can also import departments, and you can also do an employee transfer from one department to another. So the next one on the guide is the position. So when you are done creating the department, you now create the position code, right? Positions are actually identifiers to the employees, right? You want to know the position an employee is holding in a particular organization. So if an employee is holding the MD's position, the head of HR, stuff like that. So this is where you create that. You can also import and you can also do personnel transfer of that. So I'll go back to the guide. So you can see how easy it is, how easy it is to set up because you have a guide you are following, right? Which is why I'm always coming here for us to see how it works. So the next thing is the employee. So if I click on the employee, it takes you to the employee tab, right? So this is where the employees are created. You know, like I said the first time, if you have a delay in getting device, you can create all your employees. You can create them on the software. Then when the device comes, you can now enroll their fingerprint, or you can get a fingerprint scanner such that you create the employees here, you enroll them here, and when the device comes, all you are just doing is syncing your employees' data to the device. So if I click on the add button here, so you'll see this modal popping up that gives you a detailed information of what we should expect of an employee. So we have the employee ID. These are the important fields. The employee ID. The reason why you need the employee ID is because you need something that will correlate an identifier for the employee and something that will correlate with the product you are using. Then we have the first name, which is quite obvious. We have the last name, which is not a compulsory field. We have the email. So the essence of the email is for employees that wants to receive notification from their email, notification of punches and stuff from their email. And we have the mobile application, the mobile. So this is where you input your mobile phone and stuff. Then we have the date of joining for new employees that are just joining so that you can keep track of their records, of their hire dates, and you have the departments. So this is where you had the departments that we've created earlier. Then you have the area. So this is where you now attach a particular employee to a particular area. Then you now have the position, which represents the position of the employee in the organization. So the other you have is the holiday location and the outdoor management and the employment side. So if this is a permanent staff or a temporary staff, so you have that. And also you have outdoor management. So this is actually particular for employees that are going to be using mobile phone. We are going to be seeing that a little bit soon. So if I come to the personal information, so these are the additional informations that you can have to the employee, the additional information that you can add to the employee. So then you can see the device settings also. So for these device settings, these are the privileges and the modes that you associate an employee with to a particular device. So if the device you are using is fingerprint only or password only or any of it, so you can have like the verification mode. You can set your verification mode. So, and if it is a combination of both, you can select that. So let's say you want employees to use fingerprints and card for verifications. So it means when they are verifying, they have to put their fingerprint first, then they have to put their card um, um, secondly. So you have two types of user verification. So it's called combination verification. So we have a lot of them, depending on the kind of product you are using. But the default is normally any. So secondly, we have the device privilege. The device privilege states the position the employee is going to hold as regards the device. So if this employee is going to be managing this device, or if this employee is going to be a system administrator, which means the employee can log in into the device and operate the device, or the employee is just a registrar. If the employee is a registrar, the employee would only have the access privilege to register people on the device. And if we have just the employee, it means basically what the employee is going to be doing on the device is just to check in and check out. So if the employee is a system administrator, you can assign a password for that particular employee so that when they get to the device, they can use this particular password. And the other time I talked about enrolling fingerprints using uh, using a biometric scanner. So this is where you enroll a user using a biometric scanner. But take notes, you can see that this is FP registered version 10. So it has to be, the fingerprint template has to be a version 10 template from ZK. So you have to like really inform the salespeople of ZK or your distributor that the kind of fingerprinting you want is has to have a range from version 10 upwards, so that when you use it with the software, whatever device you are bringing in, the fingerprint template will be compatible with that device. So this modal is for the attendance settings. We can choose to enable attendance, we can choose to enable holiday, and also we can choose to add a workflow. Then we have the mobile application settings. If you want this particular employee to actually be using the mobile application. So then we have the WhatsApp setting. The WhatsApp setting is actually also very important, but it's still something we are working on. It is to receive WhatsApp push notification for attendance. So expect this soon. So that's it on the employee. Same thing, you see these two very important icon. You can import employee. You can also import employee photos. And also you can transfer employees either by department, by position, by area, or you can resign an employee. So whenever you see this icon, it means it's a transfer icon. So then we have this other button here, which is used to synchronize and upload user data to device. So you can synchronize user data to the device, you can upload user data to the device, or you can delete a user data biometric template that you've created on the software. So this part is actually very important because there are some times where you register an employee and you've installed the device, but maybe you have a total of 100 employee records and you have about 70 records that have been pushed to the device. So resynchronizing records to the device will give you much more updated version, because sometimes there might be some network lags or network issues that can aid in some minor data loss during data in transit. So you can actually mitigate that by resynchronizing to device. So you can also choose to enable and disable a particular employee. And so I'll go back to the guide. So now that we've created employee and we've done all that. So the next thing is now to play around the device module. So if I click on this, it takes me to the device module. So the next thing is now to add the device. Adding the device is actually very straightforward. Basically, if I go to this application. So let's say you have your biometric device. Sorry. Yeah, so let's say you have a biometric device here, right? So this is your biometric device. And basically what the device is going to be needing are two things. In the com section, sorry, in the com section of the device, there's a place where you see the server settings. So this server settings requires certain function. There's something we call ADMS. So ADMS is used for device to server push communications. So it lets the device find the server on the network. So let's say I have a device here, and this is the BioTime cloud application here. I just give this BioTime Africa on cloud, BioTime Africa, and let's say I have MB 460, which is one of our popular MB 460 brand. So basically, these two products uses push communication to connect. So, but because this is a cloud system, right? Basically, what my device needs is just my domain name server, which is T supports, which is the HTTPS T supports .biotime.ng. So you can see that this URL is what we are using to access my application. So on your application, it will be different. It will be your company name. This will be your company name. I'm going to put it in parentheses. Your company name, right? That you've created. .biotime.ng. So when you've done this, then you go to the device. On the device, you go to the com section, server settings, and you now see, sorry. Oh, hold on. So you now see the ADMS and domain name. Enable domain name. So basically what you do is to enable the domain name. So when you enable the domain name, you now get a text field, a simple text field that will now tell you to input this URL, to input it in the domain name of the device, right? So when you've done this, then what will happen is that this device would now search for this application on HTTPS server. So it will send a request to this application. So on this application, when the request is sent, then you can now see something like this. You see what we call the auto add function. So it will look like this. So let me set this back to so let me set it back to not auto, right? So after you've added the device, you see something like this, auto add this. and the system will assign this device IP to it. So because your device has to be exposed to a public network. So when you are installing the device, you just ensure that the device is connected to a router. So it could be any router, it could be normal MTN router. It just needs to be connected to the internet, because the device would only be able to search for this URL if it is internet enabled, because this URL is exposed to the public. And for you to access public networks, you need to do what? You need to basically have access to the internet. The internet, by definition, is basically where you have a lot of public IP addresses and that are being mapped into a domain name. So that's why if I have internet, I can easily go to facebook.com. I can easily come to this website. I can easily come to BioTime Africa, because I can now make requests from my client PC to any of the servers that are hosting each of these applications. So, but for the device, because the device is not like me, the device cannot search by itself. I have to go to the device parameter and input this option so that the device will be able to search for this domain name in the public network. So when it identifies this domain name, when it attaches itself, when it attached itself to this domain name, then you can now see it here as a non-authorized area. So I'm going to do this same way. So you cannot see it on a non-authorized area. So the reason why it's going to be non-authorized by default is because the software doesn't recognize which area this is coming from, right? It doesn't recognize the identifier that you want to attach to it. So how do we do that? So after you've added it, so and mind you, you have to ensure that your device is connected to the internet. If it is not connected to the internet, you are not going to see this information of your device from the software, because the device would not be able to search for it. So then I can now assign my area. So you can see where the area is effective. I'm going to select VI, and also you need to make it a registration device, and you need to make it an attendance device. Then you confirm. So when you confirm, you get the state. This state means the device is online. If you get the red states will tell you that the current device is offline. So you see, this current device is offline while this current device is online. So this will tell you that there's actually a data transfer. A data transfer is happening from the device to the software, because now I've opened the connection ports by using the area to actually identify the device with the software. So whatever employees that are present in this area will be added to the device. If an employee is not present on this particular area, that employee will not be added to the device. So these are the little intricacies that you get. So as simple as that, this is how you add and manage your device. So you can also see some additional information on that. So this is the delete icon. You can delete device. If I click on this, this is where I create a new area from the device panel. I can also clean a device by clearing commands of the device. This is for developers. And also I can clear attendance data on the device. I can clear all the data on the device from the software, in as much as the software is online. And I can also upload user data from the device to the software, just like the way I have it on the in the attendance tab of the employee. So I can have that. So I can also reboot the device. I can read all the informations. I can enroll on the device. I can enroll remotely, but this actually supports different kinds of device. So it supports devices with the new framework where you can enroll biometrics remotely. So I can also set duplicate punch period. I can capture settings. I can upgrade the firmware. If there's a new firmware from the OEM, you don't need to go to the device directly. You can actually upgrade the firmware of the device from the software itself. So I'll go back to the guide. And so you can see that step one has been completed. So if you have your system with you, you can also explore that. First, we talked about setting up the company. Secondly, we talked about creating the areas. Then thirdly, we talked about adding the departments. And we also talked about adding the position, adding the employee, and also adding the device. So the next thing we're going to do now is the timetable, the shift, schedule, and the leave features. So mind you, this is just a basic implementation guide. In our next training, we are going to be exploring more detailed part, but for us to actually get a good understanding of the default processes that this software actually offers. So this gives us easy guide and a nice direction to how we can actually have this. If you have a question on step one, we can drop it in the chat box so I can see it. You can drop your question in the chat box. And also, please don't use this as an avenue to promote businesses. Can I delete this? Yeah, I think I'm going to delete it. Please don't use this as an avenue to promote your businesses. I think we are just 22 here. If you want to promote business, you can actually use other social media platforms. This is actually a closed training class. And if you have a question so far, you can put in your question in the meeting chat so I can answer your question. So let's proceed to the step two. This step is actually very important for the HR of any organization. So as an HR, you want to ensure that your employee comes to the office at a specific time, and you want to actually track the time become based on what you've scheduled, based on the shift you've scheduled for the employee. For an organization, there's a Monday to Friday work practice, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. How do we set that on the software? So basically, what we do first is to go to the timetable. So the timetable is gotten in the attendance module. So first, I want to create a timetable for my employees. And what do? I click on the timetable and I set my normal timetable. So here I can see the basic settings. So I can I'll set my check-in rule. I'll set my checkout rule. If there's a cross day is basically talking about employees that are actually going to be checking in probably in the evening time, and they'll be checking out the next day. So if the employee is checking out the next day, you add a cross day. So if you want an employee to work for 3 days straight, you can add a cross day of 3 days. So it means when they check in 9 a.m. today, they have to check out 6 p.m. after 3 days. So that is when the attendance is going to count as 1. So same thing applies to the check-in starts in, checkout starts, checking in and checkout end. So this is where we create all those functions. And the next thing, which is quite beautiful, is the break time settings. But the break time settings as a module where we have to create a break time setting and we give it a duration. Some organizations have a 2 hours break time setting. Some they have a 1 hour break time setting. So if I come here to break time setting, I can actually create as much as possible and I can add a rule. So do I want it to be punch based? Do I want it that employees have to punch in before they go on break? And when they come back, they punch out that they've completed their break and break is over. So I can have that and I can choose to enable or disable that. So I'll go back to timetable. So when the timetable has been created, the next thing we need to do is now to set the shift. So you can see in the step, the next step is to assign the shift. So I come to assign shift. For an HR, it's actually very important for you to follow those guide, and that's why I'm using it as a baseline. So you can also click here, it gives you the guide. So the next thing now is to create a shift. So shifts basically refers to the days in which you want these timetables that you've created to be effective. So that's what shift does. So it gives you like the days in which you want the timetables you've created to be effective. So if I click on general timetable, I can say I want Monday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, then Saturday is for off days. And I can give it a shift name and say, okay, shift name is technical shifts, right? So, and I can also set it to auto shifts so that every week the cycle continues. So I click on confirm and my shift has been created. So you can see the flow process. You can't have a shift without a timetable. The timetable has to be created first before the shift. So when you've created the timetable, you create your shift. So let me check. So someone is saying, please, do I need a dedicated server to set it up, or it's a cloud storage? So yeah, it's a cloud storage managed by ZK Telco. You don't need a dedicated server. Just like I said, it's a cloud-based attendance software. All you need to do is go to biotime.ng and sign up for free. You can sign up now as I'm talking, create your own company and explore the software. But basically, this is license-based. When you install, you get it free for 1 year. Then after 1 year, and the 1 year package include one device and about 10 to 15 users. Yeah, one device and about 10 to 20 users. So you can have that. And someone else is saying, please, sign up onto the cloud server free. Yeah, sign up is free. So you can sign up and explore the application itself. You can sign up and check out how it works. Basically, you get the same interface I have, but you just get a different domain interface, right? It gets a different domain name, right? So someone said, if I want to migrate to BioTime, from BioTime 8 to BioTime Africa, can I just export the shifts areas? Yeah, so basically, you can actually do that, provided that you follow the same format. So basically what I'll do is that, because I know BioTime 8 and BioTime Africa, they are quite similar. What I'll do is I'll export the for BioTime 8, I'm going to export the shifts and also the areas because they are technically the same thing. They require like the same attributes. Then I come to my BioTime Africa, then I check for the parts that these data are needed. So basically what import and export is telling you is that on your Excel sheet, you must have shift name. So you can see this shift name. It has to be capital letter S because it is case sensitive. So here you require alphabets. There's no numerics. The shift space has to be the same. The timetable has to be the same. Units has to be the same. The cycle, you don't expect to put an alphabet where you have to put a numeric. So all these things have to be like in a proper format. And also the shift name field expects a numeric, an alphabet, so you must not put a numeric. So if I'm using BioTime 8, I know they have almost the same attributes. So what I'll do is export from BioTime 8 and now check the attributes that I require from here and just edit it. Then I can now import into it. So it makes it very easier. And for you to migrate employees, that's very easy. You can actually do that from device. You just ensure that all your employees are exported on the device. Then you just bring the device and connect it to the BioTime cloud. Then you sync the data of all the employees to the software. So it makes it easy like that. Yes, it will work. So just try out what I said for shifts, areas, position, and steps. Yes, someone is asking, will I need a license in order to use this software to occupy a lot of employees? Yes. So the way the license works is that it comes in different package, the gold package, silver package, diamond package, bronze bar package, and stuff like that. So the gold is for, say, from 20 to 50 employees. There are different package on that. It's probably 20 to 50 employees, 10 devices, uh, two mobile app counts. So this is the package that gold offers. Then for silver package, you have let's say 10 to 15 devices, you have 10 to 15 employees, two devices, and stuff like that. So that's how the licensing works. So you can send a mail to uh you can send a mail to support sales at zkteco-wa.com. So on the licensing, so they'll send you more details on the license. So someone is asking, okay, someone is asking me to retake the timetable settings. Okay, I'm going to do that. Does the 1 year free version has any limitations like the number of users? Yeah, it does. The 1 year free versions can only take up to 20 users and one device. So you can only use 20 users and one device for the 1 year, for the 1 year free. So that's fair enough. You have 20 users, you have one device to test and see how it works. Okay, so I'll go back to the guide. And like I said, someone has requested I take back the timetable. So basically, the timetable as an HR, as a staff, basically, timetable is the time organizations actually set for work, is the work time of an organization. In my organization, I work 8 to 5. In some organizations, they work 9 to 4. In some organizations, they work 10 to 11 and stuff like that. And in some organizations, there are multiple timetables. In other organizations, we have different departments that are on different timetable, right? So a lot of people call it shift because shift is an encapsulation of this timetable into days, right? So in my organization, I work Monday to Friday. That's my shift. My shift is Monday to Friday. And on each of these days, I work from 8 to 5 on each of these days. So 8 to 5 is the timetable that has been set for me. So if I want to create, if you as an HR want to create a timetable, you click on this icon and you can give your timetable a name. So let's create a normal timetable. I can give it a normal timetable. I just give it normal timetable. So yeah, I can now say my organization, our timetable is from 8 to 5 o'clock. No cross day because it's in the same day. You only use cross day when your timetable ends the next day. So let's say if I'm working 8 o'clock today and my checkout has to be tomorrow. So that's when I put cross day. And cross day is basically used for people that work, people that works, people that resumes like at the end of the day. Let's say your resumption time is 6 p.m. So it means you have to work 6 p.m. and close the day the next day. Close your work the next day. So I can now have my check-in starts to be, let's say, 5 o'clock. There are some organizations where we have some early birds. We have a lot of employees that comes to work early. So my checkout starts has to be that, like, 5 p.m. because you can't leave before the checkout time. Then my check-in end has to be, let's say you want to give them a grace, we can say 8 o'clock. So in my organization, we use it 8 o'clock. Once it's 8:01, you are late, right? And check out end because we have some like night crawlers, people that wants to work for like 5 hours after close of work. So we can set it to like let's say 10. So anything outside that is considered no. So once you've done that, I click OK. I have invalid checking in there. I think there's a problem. Okay, we set this to 8. Very close day. Okay, give this to 8:1. Checking starts 5. To see invalid checkout starts. Okay, set this to 1. When invalid checkout starts. Okay. Yeah. So so you can see my check-in, check-out. So check-in starts at 5 because I have some people that come early to work, and my checkout starts putting that 16:59, and my check-in end 8:01. Okay, so this is how I create my timetable. So here you now have the different break time settings. So break time settings has its own module where you create break time. We also have rule for unscheduled time, right? So unscheduled times give you the time where for people that are coming in, you want to give them a peg. Is it going to add to their work hours for people that comes late, for people that comes in early? So I can say calculate this as their work time. So if you're an organization that actually reward people coming early, at the end of the month, you can see that okay, the total hours 8 to 5 is about 480 to 520 minutes, and within this time, an employee comes in like 7 and work is meant to start 8. So that 60 minutes is going to be added to their work time. So they have more work time. So you can now reward them properly. So you can also do the same for late out. So for employees that are leaving late. So if you want to reward by work time. Then we also have the overtime levels, like what is the level of overtime, right? You can let it depend on the work time. So if it depends on the work time, it means they can't exceed the work time that has actually been set. So, and if you are setting the work time, it means it has to be higher than the than your normal work time. So if I work 8, if the organization standard is from 8 to 5, 8 to 5 is about 480 minutes. You have to include it as an organization to, let's say, 500 minutes. So let's say you have 20 minutes extra. So in this 20 minutes extra, you now have to like separate it in each of these levels. So I can now say 10 minutes the first overtime, 10 minutes again for the second overtime, and 10 minutes again for the third overtime. So doing this would ensure that employees effectively use their overtime, and you don't have employees that are just sitting waiting to like actually cheat the system by doing more overtime that is actually required. So it gives you a level of control. And here we have the rule settings. If clocking is required, if clock out is required for this timetable. If you're allowing late in, if you're allowing early out, and also if you are going to be having duplicate punch period. The duplicate punch is basically saying if an employee punch once, the system should take that transaction once. So if an employee punches once and the system accepts that punch, if they punch again, it will tell them duplicate punch period. It means they have to come back after 1 minute to punch again, or they have to come back after during their checkout time to punch again, so that the system can get the accurate record of their check-in and their checkout. So I have the same thing with the half-day settings, where I can see the first half check-in, second half check-in, first half checkout, and second half checkout. So half-day settings is important if you are setting shifts, if you are setting timetable for employees that are going to be coming to work at the very late of the day. So it gives you like a proper timing as to when they are checking in and when they are checking out of the system. So when you are done with the timetable, that's when we now move to the shift part of it. So the shift part is now where you now assign this timetable, you assign them to the particular day that you want them to actually be affected. So that is how you set the shift. So when you are done with the shifts, the next thing you do is now to schedule your shifts. So the next thing is to schedule your shifts. Yeah, apologies. Apologies for the little delay. So the third thing is now to set your schedule. So you set your schedule by now assigning the shift to a particular employee, So you can see for Ola Animal Sharon, Ola has actually been scheduled for this particular shift from this day to this day. So you just basically you click on add. So you click on add, then you search for that particular employee you want to schedule. So, and also you set their start date and their end date. Then you assign the required shifts that you want to assign for that particular employee. So you can also assign the shifts by department, or you can also do a temporary schedule, which is going to be very fast. And then you can see the schedule view of each of the employee. And you can also view the employee calendar. So you can see that for Ola, I can see the days in which his shifts are active. So I can see those different days in which his shifts are active. So I'm going to round this up very fast. So the step 3, which is now the third step, is now on how to calculate attendance. So attendance calculation is actually very important. And the reason is because after you've created your shifts, and let's say employees have clocked in, clocked out, and you are now close to the end of the month. So it's very important for the HR to calculate the attendance. So this should only be used when you have instances where your devices was offline for some certain days, right? If your devices have been online for all the particular days, you don't need to do the calculation. But if you have your devices offline for certain days, because for 30 days, this is Nigeria. We can have internet issues. These things happen. So it's very important to now do calculation. So when you calculate, calculation gives, it structures all the transactions, it structures them into your preferred attendance report so that you can get an adequate report. So if I go to reports, I can see the different types of reports I can get from these attendants. So calculation will structure each of the transaction into each of these my preferred reports. For transaction reports, which is the report that takes all the transactions of all the employees, anybody that clock, the scheduling reports that give me reports according to the number of people that have scheduled. The total time card gives me the total time an employee has checked in, checked out. Right? So I can see all those reporting. And also for daily report, I can see the daily attendance, I can see the daily details, I can see monthly report. So this gives me an adequate structure of reporting, right? So it is very important to run our calculations so that we can be able to generate reports accordingly. So, and each of these reports can be exported in PDF, Excel, CSV, or TSC, the way we want it. So we can have that. So I'm going to check the charts. We've spent so much time. This is 12:07. Someone is saying, please, can we have a record version of this meeting in our mails? Yes, a record version of this meeting is going to be on our YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel is Ziketeco West Africa. If you go on YouTube, you go to Ziketeco West Africa. And also, if you don't get that, you can go to ziketecowestafrica.com, ziketeco-wa.com. So when you go to Ziketeco West Africa, you can chat with our support team or you chat with our sales team. So they are going to link you to the video. So when you open the website, you see this little icon here. This little icon here. You just click on this icon and it pops up a dialog box where you can actually chat with our support and our sales, our communication experts. So all you have to do is leave a message, include your name, your email address, your phone number, and choose the department you actually want to talk to. And either technical support or inquiries, you talk to them and you have you get a response, you get a feedback as much as possible. And also on our website, you can see some other implementations, deployments, different deployments that we've done. You can see those implementations, and also you can explore different products and different technology. And one other thing is if you go to our support tab, go to training, you can see our e-learning platforms. So if you click on e-learning platforms, you can explore the ZK solutions. So if I click on start learning, I'm going to be exposed to a structured learning path where I can actually learn about the ZK Teco products and solution. So you'll see that this is currently being loaded. So you see like where you can learn a lot of things on ZK, and also you can download the presentation slides that are using either of these modules. So for every module, there's a presentation slide, and also there's a product line presentation documents that you can get. So it's actually very efficient, gets you to know more about the products and gets you to explore the products in a certain format. So see you guys in the next lesson. You are going to be seeing a video of this on YouTube, and see you guys. Cheers. Bye.
Thank you, Ife. Well done. Good job.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, see you in the next class.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye.